The Saharah Desert. What a sight! One of the largest desolate wildernesses on Earth. It is not an accident, a wilderness where life ends and all who pass wither to ash. Vehicles can't cross it effectively, and even with modern technology, it's a graveyard. I believe I have a theory as to why and how. We must begin in Genesis 11:1 through 9. Yes, this theory is about the location of the Tower of Babel and how the Sahara came to exist. Now the whole world had one language and a common speech. They said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches to the heavens, so that we may make a name for ourselves." Then the Lord came down to see the city and the tower and confused the language of the whole world. Specifically, the location known as Richat structure, or the Eye of the Sahara, measuring at 25 miles across, which happens to be a perfect size for a large tower, a tower of occult knowledge. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Sahara may be what was left of the Tower of Babel and the city. As I believe, God smoked the entire region out of existence. And I will try to prove it to you. We can begin with the social reality that for the past 2,000 years, almost every culture from Egypt to Israel itself fears the desert. At one point, the people experienced the first-hand destruction of one of the largest cities on Earth. Hence, were born the stories of jinns and biblical demons hiding in the wilderness, such as Azazel and Lilith. For Azazel, he is described in Leviticus 16:10. But the goat for Azazel is to be placed living before the Lord, for the taking away of sin, that it may be sent away for Azazel into the wasteland. Lilith is likewise described as dancing with satyrs in the desert in chapters 13 and chapters 34 in Isaiah. Desert creatures will meet with hyenas, and wild goats will bleat to each other. There, the night creatures will also lie down and find for themselves places of rest. The owl will nest there and lay eggs. She will hatch them and care for her young under the shadow of her wings. There also, the falcons will gather, each with its mate. The best proof of the idea is found in the Gospel of Matthew itself, for demons return to a desert and try to immediately depart as they hate it. When an impure spirit comes out of a person, it goes through arid places seeking rest and does not find it. Then it says, "I will return to the house I left." When it arrives, it finds the house unoccupied, swept clean, and put in order. Then it goes and takes with it 7 other spirits more wicked than itself, and they go in and live there. And the final condition of that person is worse than the first. That is how it will be with this wicked generation. This quote from God did not just apply to Israel, but all humans who walked this earth until Judgment Date. Remember, God had to physically help Moses cross the desert, and he explicitly walked them away from the desert. He did not want God's people walking headfirst into either Lilith or Azazel. It is also why Israel were forbidden to returning to Egypt, lest they be unalived. However, the best proof of the act of God destroying the tower and the region is found in physical evidence. See, high-purity silica glass can be found 1,000+ miles away. This is the molten fallout from the billions of joules released during the tower's destruction. To create glass all across the desert, you would have had to smite the region with billions of joules of energy per square meter. Not even a nuclear bomb could achieve such a feat. Such glass has never been explained by scientists. Also, the eye of the desert is magnetically altered as the explosion produced so much energy, it altered the frequency of the material in the region, and the altered material interferes with electronics, even modern ones today. This energy pulse fried out the waters and the forests and scrambled human languages, causing them to be unable to understand each other. This is the lingering echo of the EMP that scrambled human language. Maps by Herodotus, 450 BC, and Ptolemy often hint at large lakes and river systems where there is now only sand. Also, NASA's Green Sahara visualization suggests that the Sahara died in a sudden loss of life. According to my theory, the people tried to use occult and technology to open a direct door to God's reality, and had nearly found something they were not supposed to. For this act of aggression and blatant breaking of God's design, The Tower of Babel was destroyed, and heaven scrambled humanity's languages. The act of God was so powerful, it created a hole in space. That place maybe is Sheol and will eventually fully become hell. But what do you think? Do you agree with this theory? Let me know down below, Seekers.